Last video, we were talking about finally being able to make a little money and when the disease flares up. Let's get out of that. Let's talk about how brutal the summer heat is, some grub controls, and let's get into aerating and overseeding and making yards look good again. Hope y'all enjoy it. May 15th to, we'll say July 15th. What's going on is you're putting out fires. There's no other way around it. People that didn't sign up for fungicides are calling all of a sudden and they want their disease cleared up. New customers are still going to be filtering in and they're going to say, oh, I'm trying to put my house on the market for June 15th. Can you aerate and overseed it? It's May 15th. Well, yeah, but it's going to burn up in no time. Oh, I don't care, just do it anyway. So you'll have to contend with that. Do you want to take that on? Do you want that headache? Do you want that liability? Do you want that risk? Do you need the money? If you do, then you may have to take that job. And look, I've taken jobs I didn't want to take surely to help balance the books. Sometimes you got to too. I understand it. It is what it is. But when I take that on, I did one in April this year. Just made a huge order. And I needed money coming in, and it was an aeration and overseed job. And I tried not to sell it. I've tried so hard not to sell it. And I was telling them, I said, look, this has about a 30% chance of being effective. And they said, okay, we'll do it. And I just, I was sick to my stomach over it. I didn't want to do it. It's April 23rd or something, and I'm out there aerating and overseeding the yard. So, look, that's just the nature of it. I try my best to get out of it. I didn't, had to do it. It's money on the books. Anyway, this is live. So, you're putting out fires. You're going to be spraying fungicide like crazy. You're still having to get to your regular customers. People are going to be calling off the wall, and they're all going to call the same week. Because as soon as one yard gets brown patch, it's going to be widespread throughout every yard. And so what happens, however many customers you have, you got 150 customers, you're going to have 150 customers calling you. Maybe you'll get 100 of them call you in a 5-7 day period, and it's going to feel overwhelming. So you got to be prepared for that. That's got to be part of your program, to be prepared to handle that many fires. Luckily, that time of year, there's not a whole lot you can be doing other than spray fungicide. So, it's not really a tough mental decision to what am I going to have to put on this yard. On the forefront, well, I'm going to have to put down fungicide, and customers are usually going to be a little more recipient of you showing up on the yard to do that. Whereas if you're showing up and you're spraying liquid urea on June 15th, at a half pound or whatever, you tip burning the hell out of the yard or whatever, that's when you see those pictures of some of the national companies come out and spray in a yard and then the next day it's dead, where they put in one too many bags of fertilizer in their tank or whatever. And so, we'll say that's May 15th to July 15th. July 15th to August 15th. What do? It's going to be a lot of the same thing. What I like to do then is grub controls. If a yard has had grubs in the past, that's an easy thing. Or, if you want to include it in your program, that's an easy thing. Imidacloprid, which is a great one, has gone down in cost significantly. It's not super expensive to apply anymore. Acelepryn, one of the newer ones that has a residual and short-term knockdown effect. It's not as cheap, but it's manageable, where you can squeeze it into a program, maybe charge a little bit more for that application cost. But that's something else you can do in that July 15th to August 15th time frame. Then we move into August 15th to the end of October. This is when, at least here for fescue, all hell breaks loose. You've got your, I'm doing my round 6 applications. I'm doing aerating and overseeding, and that's also a big second sales season for me. So, and plus if I'm doing any Bermuda controls, like this year running the Pylex programs, and I'm talking to Greg all the time about it, and I just started my Pylex programs today. So I've got a Pylex program I'm going to be running now, early August and mid-August to late August, somewhere in there. Plus I'm going to be starting round 6 applications. Plus I'm going to be starting aeration and overseeding. So that's 3 different money makers I've got going on at one time that I have to produce in a short period of time, and I'm a one-man show. So what am I going to have to do? I'm going to have to bring on guys to help me aerate and overseed, so that way I can tend to round 6 applications and Pylex applications. So Pylex, again, you're controlling Bermuda. That's going to be a 3 application series. It's actually the sticker shock when you first buy Pylex, depending on who you get it from, is $450, $550 for an 8-ounce bottle, but that 8-ounce bottle is going to cover 8 acres, so your cost per acre is actually not that high. And you have to do it in 3 applications, so it's another 3 applications that you get to bill for. That's a pretty easy one to fly through, because you're not going to have a ton of people that are asking about it, and the ones that do ask about it, you got a surefire answer other than, hey, let's double round up it and aerate it and overseed it like I've been doing in the past. Now I'm excited to run Pylex. Anyway, so you got that application. Round 6, what are you going to be doing? We're going to be on a cooling trend as far as our growing degree days. Ambient air temperature is going to be dropping. Soil temperatures are still going to be relatively high. So it's a great time for fescue to recover. Come in, it's time to pound it with fertilizer. Go with a good slow release so you get a little bit of feed on the front end. Customers are going to see the grass perk up a little bit. You'll get a lot of release as it starts to cool off a little bit more. And that way, by mid-September, late September, it's going to look just as good as it did in April, and everybody's excited. Plus, if you aerate and overseed as part of that deal, it's going to look thick, healthy, recovered, lush, full again, and you're back to being the hero after you just survived that horrible dry period of summer. And then what do you do after aerating and overseeding? Here's what I do. I like to go with a high rate of potassium sulfate, I guess, and a really high rate of nitrogen. I want as much tillering to take place, from aerate and overseeding time through December, when we start to get that 32 degree weather. So I pound it with potash, pound it with nitrogen, and get it to grow. So that's taking it through the year. I do 7 applications. Some people do 4 applications, and if they feel like they can get it done in 4 applications, great. I'm on it 7 times a year, and I feel like I could be on it 15 times a year and still not get the results I want. So anyway, that's drawing up a program, and like I was talking with Josh about, the most important thing you can do if you're starting out at scratch is start with an herbicide label. We'll call it 3-way to start out. Open it up, look at the weeds controlled. Go through that list. We'll say the first one is whatever. We'll start at Canadian thistle. Do you know what Canadian thistle looks like? What's its growth habit? Is it a winter annual? Is it a summer annual? Is it a perennial? What rate controls it? Does it require a kicker to control it? What does it even look like? Look it up on Google. Oh yeah, there it is. Oh, it's a winter annual. That means it's going to germinate in late August, early September. Oh, okay, blah, blah, blah. All right, what's the next one? Whatever. White clover. Everybody thinks clover's a tough one, isn't it? No, it's not. It's easy to kill. Look up white clover. When is it germinate? Blah, 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 blah. That way, one, you already know the product that's going to kill it. Visually, you can recognize it when you get out on the yard, and that way, when it comes time to charge for it, you know that when you're applying it, that this is going to control that weed. It's okay to charge for it, and it's just going to work, and that's just how it works. And I will tell you that I can remember the first time I was spraying weeds, and the fear of spraying and thinking I'm going to kill the grass, or thinking I'm gonna not kill the yard, and then it ends up working perfectly. It's a matter of being able to identify, going out in the yard and actually finding it, mixing whatever to be able to control it, and doing the application and seeing it die. It takes a lot of time to do that over and over before you get good at it, but doing that over and over and over is going to make you good at it, and it's going to make you a better applicator in general. So anyway, that's going through the program a little bit with fescue. I can do it again with other turf types, and I hope you guys learned something. Please comment, like, share, subscribe. Thanks.